Hello you guys, and welcome back to Simple Investing. This video is going to be super exciting as I'm going to shed some light onto a hidden gem. My number one Bitcoin mining stock pick for the year of 2024. So make sure you guys stick around till the end of the video so you don't miss anything. And as always, if you enjoyed the video and would like seeing similar content in the future, please do consider subscribing as well as hitting the like button, as this will help me beat the YouTube algorithm and allow my channel to grow. Now, for anyone that's looking to get back into the miners and has participated in the previous cycles but never really understood why these miners run so hard, as well as for anyone who's potentially getting in for the first time, why are Bitcoin miners so good heading on into the bull run? And to answer this, it's because Bitcoin miners offer a higher beta than Bitcoin, and this is driven through EBITDA expansion as well as market multiple growth. So essentially think of a miner as a leveraged trade. So if Bitcoin can do 2 to 3x from here, a large to mid cap miner can do a 6 to 9x, and a micro or small cap miner can do somewhere anywhere between 10 and 30x and potentially more. Throughout the bull run in the mining sector, how does the money flow? That's the biggest question, because the micros and small caps always run last. And the reason for that is because the money always comes to the names that are very known of, such as Mara, Clean, Spark, Riot. And once people are sufficed and they've made enough gains out of those, the money will start flowing into the mid caps, such as Irene, Wolf, Hive, and such. And once again, people are satisfied enough with some multiples they made off of that, the money will finally move into the small caps. And the only two small caps that are, in my opinion, really worthwhile to look at would be DMGI Solutions as well as Cathedra Bitcoin. And then the rest of the sector is obviously bloated. You know, they're extremely diluted with shares, and it doesn't even make sense to look at them anymore. My two criteria for Bitcoin miners to really run and start getting this expansion and really getting those multiples and doing the God candles, what's needed? Well, what's needed is two things. The Bitcoin halving. Bitcoin must surpass its halving. And currently we're roughly, a little bit less than 2 weeks away from the halving. It's supposed to take place on April 19th. And the second one is Bitcoin must get near its new all-time high for the cycle. Where can that all-time high be? Who knows? Potentially somewhere between 150 and 200,000 USD. Only time will tell. But while Bitcoin starts nearing that peak, the miners will usually top out around somewhere between 2 months away from Bitcoin reaching that peak. And I presume the Bitcoin should be reaching that peak either in the Q4 of this year or Q1 of next year. So I do presume the Bitcoin miners will really start running hard heading into the fall of this year. And before I tell you guys what the name of this company is, I just wanted to mention that I'm not sponsored by anyone to do this video. I'm just a happy shareholder, which has been holding shares in this company since the late of 2020. The name of the company is Cathedra Bitcoin, and on the Canadian TSXV exchange, it trades under CBIT. And on the American side, I do know there is plans for them to eventually reach the NASDAQ, so potentially the ticker will change. However, currently it trades on the OTC and it trades under CBTTF. This company is currently halted as it recently underwent a merger with Kungsleden Inc. And the company is supposed to start trading sometime Q2 of this year. So it could happen at any point between April and June. I do believe it's going to end up happening closer to June. And what the result of this merger will be is the new market capitalization will be roughly 106 million, which the new share conversion will be about $8 a share at 13 million shares out. And out of all of this, only 22.5% will be tradable by Cathedra shareholders, so 77.5% will be under Kungsleden Inc. Therefore, the market cap won't really change much. It's going to be about the same as what it is currently, so about 24 million. And this is great, you guys. This is really, really going to be a tight float. If Kungsleden Inc. doesn't sell anything and they hold on to their shares, this thing can fly, you guys. Like, this is way smaller than DMGI. And it has so much more potential, and just because it never really had a chance to run in every cycle, you know, one large cap and one micro cap really outshine the rest of the sector, and I believe this is the time for Cathedra to shine. This merger between Cathedra and Kungsleden Inc. will essentially make them a scaled and vertically integrated company, which will not only now have proprietary mining, which came from the Cathedra side, but it will as well have hosting, which came from the Kungsleden side. And this will give them a combined of 4.8 exahash under management, as well as they will gain access to 8 data centers, I believe it was in the news release, and they will start dabbling with AI as well. And now we're going to take a look at the Bitcoin chart, how it's behaving throughout this cycle, as well as Cathedra's chart and also some other Bitcoin miners charts. Chart here, the main two things that I can spot out to keep it as simple as possible is, for the first time ever, Bitcoin has surpassed its all-time high or previous cycle high before the halving. That's something that's never been done before and can definitely signify the importance of these Bitcoin spot ETFs that are starting to happen all around the world at this point. Now, additionally, also what's related to these spot Bitcoin ETFs is that we've also, for the first time ever, had 7 green monthly closes. That's something that's never happened before. In previous cycles, we've had 4 to 5. In the last cycle after the halving, when we started going exponential, we had about 6. So definitely 7 is for the first time ever. Now, even if you do have Bitcoin spot ETFs, you will always have retracements. Bitcoin is not immune to that. No asset class or any kind of stock is immune to that. You'll always need some kind of retracements, consolidations for a healthy basis to form for the next leg up. So currently Bitcoin had about a 20% retracement, 17%. In past cycles, those retracements could be anywhere from 40% to 20%. However, I do believe in this cycle, the retracements will be shorter, smaller, and will keep heading on up in the positive direction due to the whole supply demand shock. And with the halving coming up, I just expect up from here. So anyways, currently we're trading in this flag style pattern. If we were to break out or below of this pattern, we're looking at these two targets. On the way down, we're looking at 54,000, and on the way up, we're looking at 84,000 roughly. In my opinion, I do think we're gonna head upwards just because of the whole supply demand narrative, and the halving is just around the corner, so things should start looking up. And I do think we found a pretty nice base here within this triangle, as well as the previous resistance became support, so that's looking pretty good. Of a recent gap right around here between 1822 and 1760. That's also acted in the past as support and resistance, quite a bit of touch points as well, so it is a pretty significant level. Another gap right down here between 1370 and 1414. I don't think it's significant enough. I don't think it will get filled, especially if Bitcoin's momentum is upwards. And we don't have any major retracements, then I really do think it's going to find some support here. We got this trend line upwards, as well as this gap. So I really do believe that we'll bounce from here, as well as decreasing volume. So I also think Mara is ready to make the next leg up. Important line for CleanSpark. There has been multiple inflection points or points of contact. And recently on all of its pullbacks, it's been finding support around here. So the question is now, can we hold support here? Also, the volume's been decreasing, so there is a potential it could hold. If Bitcoin does well, then I do think this is the turnaround point here. I don't think it's going to go below that. However, if Bitcoin does show signs of weakness, there is an upwards trend line here that potentially could bounce off of, as well as this gap here that's never been filled. It's a pretty big gap. It's one of the last miners that has a gap to fill, and that's between 10.58 and 11.96. So definitely keep an eye out for this one, guys. I do think it has a lot of good things in the pipeline. Just closed its ATM, 800 million, so they shouldn't really have to raise any more money or dilute for the next little while, hopefully for the remainder of this this bull run here. Right, it's a little bit confusing with its operations, and they haven't really been putting out as much news releases, so it's kind of quiet and nobody knows what's going on with this one. However, for risk versus return, I do think it's at a pretty nice place. It's found a base here, or a local base, and it's been consolidating here for quite a while, since, what was it, since April of 2023, and it had previous touch points here as well, so it is quite a significant zone. as well as there's a trend line here. So potentially it could get a squeeze. I mean, the more times it taps into this line, I think will weaken it and it's going to break through. So Riot's another go to one. I think it's sleeper. I think it's going to get moving. They just need to clarify their operations a little bit better. EMG Solutions. This one's definitely a legger. I don't expect it to really do any kind of crazy moves now. This one's definitely going to be probably one of the last to move. And as you guys can see from the last cycle, once it decides to move, it can definitely make some crazy gains. Will they be able to pull that off again and do a 74x? Who knows? If they could, then potentially it could be stopping out around $7 or $8. Hard to say, but currently at this level, I do think it is undervalued. And if it does break out of this triangle that it's been forming, I do believe that it should be over $1. So yeah, no gaps on this one. I think this one's ready to go. Decreasing volume. I really think this one's about to run here. So as long as Bitcoin can keep its positive momentum and these guys will be on road to execute their 2 exahash, I do believe that this is going to catch some legs soon. And last but not least, Cathedra Bitcoin with the most beautiful chart. I really like this chart a lot. It's been consolidating. It's been in this range, just coiling since the early of 2023, since early January. And then it got obviously halted here for the merger on around March 6th. And it's been trading in this tight range, creating a beautiful base, just coiling, ready to spring. And it's been in the range between 9 and 15 cents roughly. So obviously once the whole conversion is done, it's going to be starting to trade at around 7.5 or $8. Whatever it ends up being in the end, I'm not 100% sure. But basically that's going to be the new ground, and the rest of the chart is also going to get amplified by that multiple. So in terms of this one, past cycle didn't really get much of a chance to run because all the marketing and news releases started happening a little bit too late throughout the bull cycle. With all that in mind, though, I mean, it still had a chance to do about a 4x. I think this time around, it's going to have a much higher chance to really outshine and outperform. So really looking forward to those news releases that they're going to start pushing out on all the new developments. And to wrap this video up, I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.